So tell me about your mother as you lay there on the couch, expecting the therapist to do nothing but listen. This is the first thing that comes to my mind when I think about Sigmund Freud. The idea of my childhood frames who I am, and there is no changing that. Everything is in my subconscious and everything is based on instinct. Freud had some great theories to start with, but through modern technology, we've had to through adjustments. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit of this. I've never used this before, so I'm trying to change my screen. I got it. All right, so psychoanalytic therapies. In order to do this, we have to understand what they are, and we have to understand what they really mean. So with Sigmund Freud, he believed that our childhood determines who we are, or it determines what kind of life we're having. So him and Carl Jung, they're the first founders of the idea of the psychoanalysis. And that's where that perception of the human mind came from. What psychoanalysis is, it's the theory that based on the premise that the unconscious conflicts from the root psychological issues. So whatever has happened in our early childhood, throughout our lives, whatever it happens to be, that's kind of sunken back in the back, and we're not really aware it exists, but it interferes with our happiness, with our emotions, with our ability to build relationships and things like that. So lots going on when it comes to the subconscious. And if it's in the subconscious, we're not aware of it. So not being aware of it, we have to find a way to pull that out. And that's what those psychoanalysis does. That's what the therapy does, is to bring that subconscious out so we now are aware of it, and then we can deal with it. So with Sigmund Freud, the experiences that troubled us largely derive from the meanings from activating unresolved difficulties during our childhood issues. And like I said, a lot of Sigmund Freud stuff is based on instinct and the difference in our sexual bodies and aggression. So that's where his idea of the changes came from. Jung, he learned from Freud and worked with Freud for a very long time until they found out that they really didn't believe in the same things. They had the same basis, but then they went off in two different directions. And my understanding is that Freud wouldn't bend on his, so Jung went on his own and did his thing. So the idea with him, it wasn't based as much on the sexual aggression, but found that it was more the past plus how we see our future. So it's our entire life. The fact that we want to be meaningful and have meaningful lives in everything that we do. Coming into modern day, we had Margaret Mailer, and she had used the basis of Freud, but then she changed a little bit. Most of her stuff was very relationshipable. The relationship between the mother and the child in the beginning, and how those relationships built that person into the person that they're going into. That relationship starting out kind of built the person as a person, and it showed what kind of relationships they were going to have. A little more, we have Donald Winnicott, and he did his stuff and decided that, children with unstable homes had the most difficulties in their lives. So that was really interesting. I love this. What I am at any given moment in the process of my becoming a person will be determined by my relationships with those who love me or refuse to love me, with those whom I love or refuse to love. Now, that one was not from Donald Winnicott. That was Harry Sharp. And his stuff was amazing because he went even further into what was needed to really develop those relationships and to help those relationships grow into good relationships. So it wasn't your childhood has ruined you forever. It wasn't everything you experienced in your childhood you're stuck with. It was, hey, let's work on who you are and your mind is never stuck in one spot. Let's work through it. Through all the psychoanalysis, through your psychologist, your neurologist, and everything else, the one thing that I'm discovering more and more is there's not a one-size-fits-all for anybody in mental health under the sun. Above the sun, it's a different story. The whole idea here is we will have a complete whole new mind and whole new body because sin will go away when we're with God. Until then, we're stuck with our sinful selves. So sometimes we need help to get past the troubles that we have, and that's where the professionals come through. But without God, I don't know how people do it. He is our salvation. And that is the one thing that I know I can lean on anytime my life gets rough. He is always my friend, and he will always be there to see me through everything. So that is my basis on psychology, and we will see you next time. Have a great day.